Hello and welcome. My name is Tristan. Hello, Senna. How you doing? How are you well? So I've just popped up the old blog, the old space Factorio Friday Facts blog. Just as usual, put on record what was the most recent Friday Facts, so that anyone catching up on VODs knows what I'm talking about if we end up discussing that. And in this case, it's 418, which was the Space Age release date, which was the 21st of October 2024. Yeah, and they've done the old Steam page, etc, etc. So yeah, so let's crack on, basically. I'm only going to do a couple of hours today, because I've been watching the British Grand Prix, which was a good race. It rained, as it often does in Britain, but that spiced things up quite a bit, and Lewis ended up winning, which makes him the well, he's just taken a new record basically with makes nine victories by one driver at one track, which is, as I say, a record. And he had the record before, but it was tied with Schumacher basically. So yeah, cool. Right then, so I literally have done nothing. I was intending to leave this running so that it would fill up. He didn't do that. So basically, this isn't far off being full, just because it actually loads in quite quickly, but it's basically sucking up entire train loads at the moment still. And we need to put a bunch more in, which is the next job, really. That's a lot of copper, yeah. It's the problem, in quotes, with this whole DLC. This whole mod, basically, is that all the numbers just go, through the roof. If you think about it, though, it's like with any, train production, buffering, type situation where, it doesn't, in a sense, matter what's in your buffer eventually, because it's just the flow in matches the flow out. It's just that this is effectively a massive train. It's like a massively long train, as it were. 50 carriages long, whatever, delivering all of its stuff at once, and then it only turns up every day or something. So it's just a very different scale of thing, basically. Yeah, we also then therefore need to set up, which also means, I haven't upgraded the belts or anything like that, so we're still a bit lacking in sort of throughput for this whole thing, but that's fine. I don't really have a plan as such, other than just getting these things working and sending things up to space, basically. So what I'll do is if I copy that bit. Yeah, hope you're well, Senna. Hope you're having a good day, a good weekend. Why didn't they? Oh, I guess they're just bringing it in. Right, so wait for them to do the stuff. I guess we'll make this iron, maybe, as it's right here. We could probably change this to a 4x4. And or a 1-to-4 rather, which is very simple. Yeah. Jump over. Doing good, thanks. How are you doing? Yeah, not too bad actually. I obviously very, very busy. I don't know if you've seen the video, but it was a super long one because the Steam page basically has loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of Easter eggs in it and little bits and pieces. So it took me quite a long time to record that and edit it. So that's basically been my weekend. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. And obviously nice to get the release date. I am wondering about do I start messing about with these on this now? Yeah, Yeah, I saw it. Really nice. I didn't realise until that later that there was a new Steam page for the expansion specifically, and that it contains some new stuff. Yes, I didn't really explain it properly in the video in the end because I'd had sort of done that, as it were. You know, I'd sort of put in a bit of an explanation, but the way I'd done it, it was easier just to put all of the, you know, like all the space platform stuff together, all the Fulgora stuff together, all the Alvis stuff together, which wasn't how I recorded it. I did a straight one on the Friday Facts, and then went and looked at the Steam page. But then I realised, because I obviously did the second video last week, and I wasn't quite sure how to explain it yesterday, but it always kind of tanks, basically, the second one. It doesn't, you know, I still get lots of views for me, you know, for my usual performance sort of thing, but it never does as well compared to the sort of original, just the one Friday Facts video, basically, the second one, and which was a little bit disappointing that last week, because that was kind of more of the stuff I do. You know, that was more speculation rather than you know, than the Friday Facts one, which was obviously quite a lot to read through. I say that's a little bit disappointing when it does that, because it's like, well, if I'd known, I just stuck it all in with one video, which is what I did this time, you see. So we need, I guess, does that need to be a chain signal? I think no. It needs to be a rail signal, doesn't it? Because what I want is for a train to stop there, and it would fit in there, but not to enter the tracks if it can't get in there. Okay, I think that's okay. So now we can just set this to 2. Oops, not 23, 2. Don't know that I've got spare ones, so I think I will pop one on here. Ah, of course. Do. Because it's not going to stop there, is it? So what I think I need is just one set of signals. Like, in fact, I could just take that one out, couldn't I? Because but another one's coming on the way. So if we go to try to go to load, not load, unload. No, path, because this one's now booked up properly. No, it isn't. Why can't you get to unload? Why can't you get to an unload? Yes, that's there. And then I want signal there, really. So that's a single bit. And that just pulls up. So if we send you, we need to give you some forge. Just need to sort this out first, sorry. I don't know why I've only put that many carriages on, because I'm an idiot is obviously the answer. Put that on there. Now, go to depot, please. So why can't you go to unload? Yeah, because I've messed the signals up somehow. I guess because this is indeterminate, is it? If I take that one out, what do you do? There you go. Might as well put that for there, tidiness sake. So, I like the speculation parts videos the most. Yeah, I think most people do. I think that's kind of, you know, the kind of cool bit that I do. And I think this needs to be a regular signal, doesn't it? That's the point. That was the change that was needed. So a train can come in here, like that, very nearly kill me, and say to that signal, right, you can't come along here, you come in. Not that it would, because there's obviously a limit on it, but you never know. It won't go in here because of that signal. Cool. Okay. Cool. Your mad theory is kind of mad, but it sounded so cool. The one about spoiled brain spawning monsters. Yeah. I say that's really the stuff I love doing. It's just the completely bonkers ideas is like the most fun. And I don't know. I think people sometimes think I'm trying to be like. As in, I actually think some of the ideas will be real, if you see what I mean, which they really aren't. They're really just sort of, wouldn't it be mad if, this type of thing was in the game? And that's kind of how I approach it all the time. Or wouldn't it be fun? Not mad, really, but, wouldn't it be fun if it was like this? That's sort of what I'm going for. But, as I say, I think sometimes that people think I'm trying to predict it, basically, and I'm not really. I'm just having fun. But yeah. Right, so if we do that. We need to take that out, don't we? Seem to have ended up with a whole load of random chain signals. Why have you not built that for spots? Now we can change that to 2. Yeah, I mean, I say there is some reason that I've kind of had it sort of confirmed that the biters on the platform are a real thing. It's not an error as such. Now it could be a placeholder for something. It could be something else, but it is a real texture that will be in the game. But as I say, maybe not that one because it's a placeholder or something. But there will be some thing on the platform. Like that. Let's say what it is. Don't have a clue. But yeah, so it just then kind of wondering what it is. Is a second one coming? There we go. Are you going to do the same thing? Yeah, I think this is fine, isn't it? I'm not going to do them all now. I'll date them all in, but I think having stacked is going to be a lot better for us. It does beg the question of do I need more serious unloading? Because this is not really double blue belt filling, but then, as we said, it's going to fill it up and then wait for ages, so is that going to matter? Probably not. So I think we'll leave it as is. If someone stacked loads of spoilage, it would mean all spoiled at the same moment and perhaps many hundreds would spawn the same amount and kill anything. However, the thing about the planet receiving stuff going directly to recycling is weird indeed. Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. There were some bits of it, and it's always a little tricky with, trying to look at these things because, like the whatever we want to call it, park or garden or whatever it is. They do fill out pretty quick, don't they? That bit where there's the really, really dense area of trees. Because what I try and do is I don't go on Discord and Reddit and all that sort of stuff and look at what they are, because I just want to see what my brain comes up with, basically. But it means that, therefore, because the devs obviously go on Reddit and Discord and kind of answer some of these questions, so if I've not got on, I can't see these blatantly obvious things where they go, oh, it's just, as I say, it's just a placeholder. There'll be something, but it's a placeholder texture for now, type of thing. Or in this case, that park, it turns out, is Boss Kid messing about with the editor, basically. So we're not going to be able to plant trees. We can, obviously, using the editor, but in-game, there's not going to be plantable trees, unless he's trolling or what have you, and it's a red herring and what have you. But yeah, it's not, we're not, I say, going to be able to plant parks as far as I can tell. Let's say it therefore renders that bit of the video with a simple and easy, answer that, doesn't really need the whatever it was 5 minutes I didn't dedicated to it. You see, so that's how you sort of get that. I think what I'm going to do is because these, oh no, that's all junk from previous things. But I think I'm going to copy this up basically. And then we'll have extra plate coming in. It's a bit annoying the bots being in range. And what I might actually do, this is a real mess, isn't it? This made a right spaghetti mess here. Yeah, I think I will swap this back to 3-1. And actually we will it's here. Because what I'm sort of intending is to go back up to the platform. We'll ride one of these up, basically. And then we'll set up the other end, and then we'll have loads and loads. We will alleviate that copper problem that I was having, basically. So, this needs to be a 1 to 6. Should I flip that round? No, flip that round. No, don't make any difference. So I'll do that. That's probably more appropriate for getting material in. He says there's no back pressure, obviously, so it's not filling out. Yeah, so it'd be quite fascinating. I think the problem with it is literally, well, the problem is it's a bizarre idea that I'm sure they won't implement, but I say the sort of problem is that if you're stacking thousands of science packs, into a platform, and as you say, they all spoil at the same time, basically, because it'll be from the same batch, then you would literally have thousands of biters spawning. It could be a percentage chance thing. It could be that 10% would turn into biters. And it, like a nest, basically, it could be something like that. But even then, if you had a platform with 1,000 biters on, and even a 5% chance is 50 biters, which is an enormous. It doesn't even send that many when it's responding. I don't think you get 50 biters when you blow up a load of nests, basically. So it would be insane. And those rockets that I was pointing out on the platform, they wouldn't take out 50 biters. They just chew through everything. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I wibble on about is just it's full of holes, but that's not the point, That's not why I do it. I do it because it's just fun. Right, so that's iron, or rather copper, iron, and green circuits. If we do steel as well. Where's it gone? There it is. We'll let them build that in, and I'll have a quick butcher's. A butcher's hook. So I'd put red, green, iron, and copper. There's no point doing steel, is there? Because we have so much. We're drowning in steel from all the barrels. So eventually, probably need it. But for the time being, that's a bit pointless sending that one. So, what I guess we need to do... Oh, actually, if I... maybe if I convert the ones... Yeah, that I'm sort of changing, as it were. That'll have caused... I bet I've just caused a train to randomly stop somewhere. But what was your thought on the brain fruit then? I mean, obviously, setting aside my idea, but as in, do you think it is a brain? Do you think it's just they wanted to do something a bit icky and weird? Because it is a very strange and very specific thing to pick, and it's a interesting coincidence that you've then got a biter design that we've seen. We've not actually seen the guy, you know, in the game, so he may not even have made it in. But it's a weird coincidence that you've then got a brain biter. The other reason, I mean, the specific thing I was saying in the video that it couldn't be that is because he doesn't touch the ground, he only floats. So he can't stomp, really, if he's a floating biter. So it doesn't make sense from that point of view. But yeah, it was a fun, gross theory, which I quite enjoyed. How have I ended up with all these extra things here? Now, if we put that on 2, it's on 2. Waiting, unload, waiting, unload, waiting, unload. I've not added on extra things, did I? I did it for the iron. I did not do it for this one. I think I'm like way short on trains. I don't think I've been diligent enough in putting them in. Send you to the depot. The graphics look a bit out of place, but as you said, it's perhaps the concept art used as a placeholder. It sure looks like a brain. It does, doesn't it? It's a very brainy thing. No, they did. I think they've also confirmed on Reddit that it was. No, it's somewhere that it was very much a placeholder. I think that's part of the whole thing of, you know, when I'm not sure if it was Cloning or Covrex or in whichever Friday Facts basically said, look, we've got to show you Gleba because there's, you know, there's reasons for doing so. And of course the fact you're about to announce your release date and you want to show pictures of brain fruit and stuff is a pretty big reason for having to get it out there. So yeah, I think that was the issue basically, that they didn't have any graphics. Kind of, well, if we're going to sell this game, we need a Steam page. Okay, so we need to set this one up as having a proper output. Spent all that time taking it away, and now I'm adding it back in. Okay, now put it there, aren't we? The other news, I don't know if you play Satisfactory as well. Oh, that's right. I'd like to know more about the Gleba crafting because I can't come up with any good ideas for what it's used for. I don't see the usefulness for regular crafting. We can use weapons, factories, etc. Yeah, it's. I suspect it might be the carbon fibre, because carbon fibre. I think carbon will be relatively easy to get. I don't think there'll be like a restriction on only Gleba can make carbon. I think you'll be able to get carbon. Well, we know we can get carbon out of asteroids. I think we'll get a new recipe to turn coal into carbon, which is how you use it on Volcanus. But I think it's the resin, basically. I think the resin, because carbon fibre is actually resin bonded carbon strands, which is what I was trying to explain in the video, but doing a terrible job of. And therefore, in order to make anything out of carbon fibre, you need the resin as well. And I suspect that brown stuff in the pipe was perhaps the resin, which was why it was what I was saying. What I was trying to explain was, I think maybe the biochamber does have a connection, you know, the pipe connection or something like that. It might be artwork they've still got to add, but I think you can then connect it to the resin, and that's how you basically make carbon fibre, and that perhaps only Gleba is able to make carbon fibre, basically. So. Because interestingly, we never saw on any of those images any of the Gleba buildings away from Gleba. You know, it was always in the Gleba pictures that you saw the biochamber and the grabby arm. So I'm wondering if the restriction there is more around the whole. They kind of want to force you to export things from Gleba. Now, I don't think carbon fibre will have a lifetime on it, but perhaps because he did sort of mention in the thing that bioflux is really important. So I'm wondering if maybe you get resin by turning the bioflux into resin, basically. So you've got the option. You can do it on Gleba, but that means your entire Gleba production is about resin and stuff like that, which, you know, probably not that efficient because you've got to send all the carbon fibre around, all that sort of stuff. But you could also perhaps export bioflux, and maybe that stacks a lot higher and stuff like that. And therefore, if you make carbon fibre anywhere else, then, you know, you have to take, because you can't transport fluids, you have to take the bioflux around, and that's what Gleba is all about, sending bioflux around. Because I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the EMP can also make carbon fibre or something like that. You know, it's not particularly useful to use the biochamber everywhere, but that's just a very, you know, you've got the option basically of, well, do I make it all there and ship it out, or do I send the bioflux and, you know, use that there, or use it where I need it, sort of thing. But I mean, obviously, what carbon fibre is used for, I don't know. It's obviously massively useful in things like the aerospace industry and anywhere where you need lightness and strength. Carbon fibre is great, but what that therefore means, I don't know for production. Oh yeah, about carbon. Do you remember if we could know carbon is obtainable on any planet themselves? I have some weak sense of it being obtainable on Gleba, but I think I made it up. Otherwise, it could be a space exclusive. But as you said, it seems to be used in high numbers, so it could be too much for space platforms. Yeah, I think the source of pure carbon, in a sense, will be the platforms. That they are like the best way of getting pure carbon directly. You just fly your platforms around. They automatically basically gather carbon because they've got to, because of asteroids are in the way, and that gives you pure carbon without you having to do anything. It literally just puts it in the crusher, turns it into pure carbon. No fuss, no muss. Everywhere else, I suspect, like so, coal, there will be a process for turning coal into carbon. It may involve several steps. You might need to use some kind of oil with it. You might need to use steam. So it'll be a more complicated production chain. But I think you will be able to get access to it. And it's just that asteroids give you literally the purest carbon. So if you've got Gleba, you've got platforms coming one way. Because you've got to think, the game is a logistics game. So what you've effectively got is platforms coming from a planet, gathering carbon on the way, drop off the carbon, pick up all the carbon fibre, take the carbon fibre away. Or pick up the bioflux so that you can use it for, and the carbon as well, so that you can use it for carbon fibre or what have you elsewhere. So that's my suspicion, and the sort of really important, and carbon fibre is like a really important material for all of the endgame stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. There's kind of a hint from Rhaegar somewhere that recipes are quite changed, that there's quite a few recipes that have sort of changed. And I think maybe a lot of the higher tier stuff, although it's you do your research on Nalvis, to get maybe tier 2, or to make the Spidertron, maybe you need carbon fibre as well, or to make legs you need carbon fibre sort of thing. Because it'd be more sensible, to do that. But then there's a lot of weirdness in the in how Factorio's production chains work, because a Roboport I think is one of the weirdest ones. Where is it? Because of what it is, you'd expect it to use blue circuits, because of how complicated it is. Instead it's, well, this is different, isn't it? So it's not a good representation. But I mean, bots have red and green circuits, and yet they're really rather complicated. But it's because of how they wanted to balance the game, so that's not necessarily a good indicator, but yeah. Right, so I think that's all the 4 that I was like crying out for. I don't know if these have got, oh yeah, they've got, no they haven't. Why haven't they got fuel? Because I disconnected the pipe, didn't I? Yeah, okay, so we haven't got fuel. Yeah, there we go. Because I was a bit scared that these would just infinitely suck up fuel without a destination, but they kind of have a destination by default. Now 50k is what in terms of these? So this here is holding 2 rockets worth. Do I want it to hold more? I think I do. think maybe it should hold 4 rockets worth. Which is a bit mad for doing fluid things, but you know, at some point you've got to do something mad with fluids. Cool, okay. So, this one we know is ready to go. So we can hop on this and go over there. But I kind of need to set myself up, don't I? If I call this Nauvis Orbit Copper. And this would be then Nauvis Orbit Iron. And then this is Nauvis Orbit. Oops. Keep trying to click on the wrong thing. Red CCT. Although I guess it wouldn't be CCT, would it? Right, so this would be green CCT. Okay. So we've given them names. That's awesome. I need to turn... yeah, we need these to be loggy chests, don't we? Okay, so I don't have any loggy chests in space. Okay, so I need to... Not chests, warehouses. So we need to order plenty of them. Do I want to take signal jobs with me? Because one of the problems with this is I'm not entirely sure how I kind of set up the circuits and logistics on it and stuff. Oh, okay, so I can specify the specific landing pad there. So I want it to go to that one. What's this for? I don't get, unless that's like a search bar, is it? Oh yeah, works as a search bar. Interesting. I don't know what the filter's for otherwise. Okay. Yeah. Although we've seen many huge non-Aquila endgame bases, indeed, yeah, yeah. Oh, but I didn't really answer your question. I've not seen anything specifically confirming that carbon can be made elsewhere. We've obviously seen it on a belt on Canis, but yeah, we don't know where that came from. So yeah, it could be that space is the only source of it. That'd be weird because carbon is incredibly abundant on. I mean, everything organic is made from carbon, basically. So. I got hyped about Aquila because they said it was enigmatic and the most unique gameplay yet. I guess and hope that it's a combination of mechanics to get it working for a true endgame thing. Maybe it has an advantage in production so that an endgame base is suited for it. Yeah. Although we've seen many. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't. That was a very strange thing to say. In a sense, I mean, obviously it's awesome. I'm not saying, I'm not cool, but it was strange to, have added quality and spoilage and then say, actually, Aquila's the most unique gameplay. And it's like, well, so what is it? What's going on there? I want to take some landing pads, don't I? All of them in. And we've got regular chests and I'm not going to do the whole fiddling with the loggy thing. I'll just stick it all in a chest, basically. Or a warehouse. So, the thing I keep forgetting to do is the life support canisters. I think I've got hundreds up there, so... What else do I want to take? Anything? Well, I guess I could take a bunch of them, couldn't I? Since I know I've got them. It's not going to hurt to have them. And somebody did say that inserters are a bit of a pain up in space, so let's just grab a few of them. Since we'll have space, as it were. I could also take a few intermediates just because. Copyright, yeah, let's have a plastic. Yeah, I'll do. I guess I should take some of them as well. Because we ran out of them, I think, didn't we? Or I had to manually build one of them. And then what? If we go... It's not going to hurt to have... or was it them I had to build? Can't remember. Let's even that up. Yeah. Doesn't hurt having these things in orbit, does it? Okay. Okay, how are we doing? We got all of these? On the way one. Okay, yeah, it's because we've only got... I think I took that machine out, didn't I? So that's probably all we've got, but having them in orbit is not going to hurt. Cool. Okay, let us... Now, where am I going to put this? If I go and put this over here. Out the way. And then chests and maybes. We don't need normie belt. Pipe. Rails useless up there. There's no real point taking the wagons and stations and stuff. So not there yet. Signals, no point having landfill. Got an emergency capsule. Don't need that. Fuel. And maybe built in space. Because obviously I need at some point to bring stuff back down. Where are they? Where are they? Yeah. Looks like it can. Okay, so we'll take some of them then. What else? I guess it doesn't hurt to have speed modules and intermediates and all that sort of stuff. And cool, I think. Right, let's swap our gear out. Right. See, they fill up quite quickly. Obviously, it puts a huge strain on the base. You know, I don't know how much I've got in there now. 42k and 33k. But that's kind of the point. It, you know, it'll massively fill up, and then it'll just, you know, refill its buffers essentially. And this is why I was going around, you know, upgrading everything, because we should have. Oh, this bit of plastic's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Is that because the oil is finally running out? Oil is full, pretty much. Is it just not able to process it all then? I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, because that's level 1 modules. So, what's backed up here? Anything? Yeah, light oil, okay. Light oil. Because it's designed for tier 3 normal modules, so the maths won't be right. Well, and for vanilla game. Yeah, so that needs work, but there we go. Oh, hello. Bokeh Magician? Totally a tubular effects, dude. Where the heck did you get that from? And welcome. I hope you're doing well. Is that's a points thing, is it? I know they added some stuff. There was one where they about like big icons and stuff. And she just friended you. Oh, right, okay. She's a fellow programmer. She was tickle pink by her content so far. Oh, good. So it was nice to hear. I hope she's enjoying it. Right, yes. Stop messing around, and we'll get into a rocket. And then I'm going to do a safety save because I don't think there's any point me dying and respawning and all that sort of rubbish on these streams. And then we will hit launch, and that should launch on fuel full, launch on cargo full. Apparently, even though you put that some of these, it won't just launch. But that's an awful lot of material to test. It was odd they showed the brain planet when the plant graphics were clearly unfinished. I think they just showed the bed fruit instead. Yeah, I kind of... yeah. I don't know, I think the sort of problem is, in the sense that they've got, is that... So this was what I was saying earlier to Senna, that can't wait for the smarter robots, indeed. Yeah, that's... some of the quality of life things we're getting are just amazing. But, that... What was that? Lost my train of thought. That, no, it's gone. Oh, the placeholder graphics, yeah. That was why we got the thing in the Friday Facts a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, we've got to show you Gleba, because there's stuff we need to do. And I thought, because we then got, a couple of quality of life things, and after those, I was like, well, why, what exactly did you need to show us if there's then just basically quality of life stuff that you're doing? So I think that was what it was, basically, that they needed to show us Gleba, so that they could kind of push on, because they probably planned out, well, this is when we're going to have the Steam page go live. And of course they were then sat there going, well, we need to be able to show all of the planets in the Steam page, or the intermediate planets anyway. And whether they keep Aquila just a complete mystery from now on, sort of thing, we obviously don't know. But I wonder if this should be... I'm going to leave it as a storage for that, but really I think this should probably be an active provider. But yeah, anyway, because I'm not really sort of reusing these. But yeah, so I think that was the impetus for the, right, we've got to show you Gleba, so that they could prep all the material, get all the... Because setting up a Steam page is not easy. It's as I understand it, it's a horrible interface in the back end. And like getting your page set up, even putting pictures in it and stuff like that, is like horrendous, is my understanding. So you can't just go, right, well, stick it live. It takes like a week or whatever. And I'm not entirely sure that you don't have to get it approved. I'm sure it's automated checks and all that sort of stuff. But if you think about it, if they gave you free access to Steam, you could put all sorts of, stuff on your Steam page that was really dodgy, and not meaning dodgy as in, because I know there's, 18 plus games and that, but I mean dodgy as in, links to things and viruses and all that sort of stuff that you could in theory put on there. And so that it needs to go through some kind of automated check just to make sure that you've not, basically caused, what could cost Valve a lot of money type of thing. So I think that has a timeline approval process, and even if it's a week, it's only a couple of weeks since we got all the Gleba details. So I think that was right, we need enough that we can do the thing. The other thing, obviously, that they've kind of told us is that they had a big LAN party. So I assume a lot of those pictures were from the LAN party. So they clearly have a bit of a schedule of, right, well, Gleba needs to have enough stuff on it so that we can take screen captures so that we can then put those on the Steam page. Yeah, so it's like it's just a project management thing, basically, of saying, well, we'll have a week of the LAN party, and then we've got a week to do the Steam page, then we can set it live and tell everyone about it. So it's I think it's a timing thing, really. And I guess they just didn't get the time to finish the brain fruit. Because what was interesting is the tiny ones on the belts were proper models, I think. They were proper 3D models. But then the ones on the tree were clearly just, drawn pictures. I can't even remember what I'm looking for the rocket parts, aren't I? And I don't know why they're not. Shouldn't they be in that list? What does it call them? Rocket sections or something? There we go. Cargo rocket section. There we go. Wow, that was painful, wasn't it? How much? So maybe if I have 2 doing that, maybe that'll be fine. Is there any, does it do scrap as well? It doesn't, does it? That's okay then. Okay. I made that painful. Right, so we will put copper on here, like that. We will see 1,000,000 bots fly over, or like the 100 that I've got, and pick everything up. Yes, about my comment. On the screenshot showing all the compact trees, there's 3 lines of beacons. Just below the 3rd row is a lane of a new intermediate. It's right above the gears. It's being used in 4 assemblers, and I don't recognise the recipe. Well, since we're live, how about I pop that up, and I will see what you're referring to. As I say, I found the image really, really difficult to see what was going on because it was so pixely and low res. So that would be I am the worst at organising folders. I mean, I give folders with just letter names all the time, and it's like, well, what even is that? Why have I given it the letter F? What does that mean? Not that one, is it? Which one is it? Must be that one. So if I didn't help being on 4K with this. There we go. So that should be the image you're talking about. So where are we looking? There's 3 lines of beacons just below the 3rd row. Yeah, that's the 3rd row there, isn't it? Just below there. There's a lane of new just below there is a lane of new intermediate. Oh, do you mean below the 3rd row? Oh, right, I see. That thing there. Yeah, what is that? Where is it? Do we know where it's coming out of? So it's coming along here. Okay, so it's come from off screen. So one of the things I would say, and I found this as well, all of these items are stacked, coming from off screen. Everything here is stacks of stuff. So it could be something that else, as it were, that stacking just makes look really weird. So that's one possible slight caveat to it. So if that's going up there, then it's suddenly 2 lanes because it's just not eaten the other one, I guess. But where is it actually going in? It's coming along here. It's got a splitter there. I really quite like this base because it's a proper spaghetti mess base. It's quite pleasing, really, that the devs do so much spaghetti. It's like we've got an underground there. Why have we got an underground? You're not stopping it from polluting the belt. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what that is. So it's being fed into something that uses pipe. And and gear wheels and steel, which would tend to suggest engines, wouldn't it? That's like a steely thing. But then it would need to be iron plate coming in. So what's a recipe that uses gears, steel and pipes? I can't think of anything either. I say that doesn't also use iron plate. What else is it going into? Whatever this is, which is the same stuff, isn't it? Those two are making the same thing. But as you say, they're both outputting into... It's got it in its hand there, is it? Or is that just the top? That's just the top of the assembler. You see, it gets so pixely, and I just can't tell what's going on. Any other clues as to where it's going? It's going to this one. And again, I can't see it holding anything. You've got green circuits, and in fact, all that's getting put into it is the whatever it is in green circuits. But this one isn't doing that. Okay. I'd assumed when I'd been going through it, I think I said in my reply, I cut out a load of stuff. Oh, sorry, chat away. I've just been ignoring you. The yellow things in the middle. Yeah, so I think it's those. They got like a yellow top almost. So it's a yellow thing that's inserted arms for green science. It's below that. Yeah, so those ones there. Okay, again, you know, this is the type of thing that really confused me, because this is just yellow inserters and yellow belt. But it's been stacked, so it looks really weird. You know, this is such a bright yellow, but I think it's just because when you stack them, you know, they just look more intense in a sense. We couldn't recognise it when we looked at the assembly recipes. We couldn't figure it out. Engine, gear, steel pipe, flamethrowers. Okay, yeah. But as you say, gear, steel pipe. So it'd need to be engines then for that to be the recipe for that. But that doesn't look like an engine. I say that it could be the, you know, that's the problem I sort of had with the stacking. It just makes things look really weird compared to how you've seen them before. Also looks like different building styles. Whoops. It's like different building styles in different images, so it could very well be images from different players, devs, from the LAN party. I think it's engine actually. What is engine, green chip, steel? Engine, green chip, steel. Is that not... Because it's not got lube in it though, has it? Because is that not close to... It's difficult for me to check, because obviously it's different recipes. Locomotive, okay. But yeah, as I say, you know, because of the way it stacks up, and like, so if it is engines, one of the things that's confusing about that is it looks like it's curved to me. You know, it looks like it's actually something that's, you know, got a curve on the end. But it isn't, it's just, you know, the way they stack, they look a bit strange. So when I was looking at this, I was like, oh wow, there's like some kind of mega gear or super gear or something where it's like a really thick gear, and that's used in loads of things. And then I'm like, oh no, it's just a stacked gear. But yeah, I mean this base, like the production in it is like nuts, because as I say, all of this is stacked. Everything coming from off screen is stacked basically, and it's a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it's on red, but a lot of it coming in here, you know, it's green belts. So it's stacked green belts that are filled up. Now, of course, a lot of it's probably idle, but the production in just this base is like, this is a mega base basically in terms of what's sat on these belts. So we're just going to be talking about different scale in space age. But yeah, they say that it's like this, like you were saying, Tanner. So I think this is from the LAN party. So you've got people basically like messing about and trolling and stuff, I think, going on as well. And as you say, someone's built something, and then someone else has come and built something, and someone else has come and built something. And so this is basically, according to Boskid on the Discord, this was just him spawning stuff in with the editor. So that's why it's all very, very uniform. And he's just made a little park, basically. And like here, there's clearly a building that's been sat here. And then it's been repurposed. And you've got like wooden power poles kicking about. So this was, you know, this and the other image as well are just like, things they've thrown together and then upgraded and then put some more in and, you know, added to it and taken away from it, and it's a very organic base, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, it could be a new intermediate, but the stacking makes it very difficult to take, is what I would say. Anyway, okay, so that was that. I do like the foundry design, replacing smelters right there on the miner patch. Big mining drill and foundries both being 5x5 is not a coincidence. They look very clean. You can cover a whole mining patch like that, but you don't have space for beacons, really. So, I think if you... Well, one of the things I suspect is that the maths with the foundry basically means that I'm not sure that you deplete patches. I think effectively foundries and big mining drills together, especially when you get a bit of quality in it, basically that's like having prod bonus a lot earlier. And so that's one of the reasons they weren't too fussed about just covering the mining patch with having beacons on the mining patch, because that patch is going to be there for hours, because the amount that you get out of it. Because one of the things is like the productivity stacking, where you've got, because they may have modules in them. I mean, they probably do because of the speed modules on speed beacons on them. But basically, then, you get a prod bonus when you turn it into molten copper, and then you get a prod bonus when you turn that copper into wire. So you're getting massive prod bonuses that mean that you can produce huge volumes without really depleting patches. And then, of course, when you actually get to prod bonus, you'd already stepped away through that thing. That's just an instinct, though. I haven't actually gone and done the maths, because I'm not very good at the maths. But yeah, that's my sort of guess, is kind of one of the big... Which is one of the... And, part of the reason I think that is it's why they've used them everywhere. Boundaries are just like all over the place, basically, which was very interesting to see. So if I click that, cool, and then we do that. Do I do that? But yeah, I could well be wrong on that. Obviously, maybe the foundries are actually horrendous. I mean, we know the cost of it is power, obviously, that you're not getting that for free. You're having to do gigantic nuclear arrays and all that sort of stuff just to run them. But so what? I put that in one thing, didn't I? That needs to be red circuits. Brain. This is why I'm only doing a couple of hours today, because brain starts to fade. And then, so yeah, green circuits. Okay. Cool. I want to have filter on these, really, don't I? I say these really need to be active. I wonder if I could just make a couple. Oh, I can. I don't know where they're going to put them, but once they're out of here, I don't care. Didn't put two and two together at first, but foundries double dip on their prod bonus. You get 50% for smelting, or then 50% for printing the molten ore into an intermediate thing. Yeah. You also get to skip a step, so it makes them more efficient in that way as well, so you can make iron gear wheels directly. And obviously, I guess you're losing prod bonus there in a sense, but just being able to pump out iron gear wheels from a single building is going to be hugely useful. Just with our knowledge right now, the foundry EMP combo with no modules is hugely truncating module cost, yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what this third building is, because it's clearly not the Gleebar, you know, that works well with boundaries and EMPs, because it's clearly not the biochamber, so otherwise they would have just said. Okay, so let's look at Nalvis. Hopefully these guys are fueled up. And we can set this to orbit iron. I mean, iron and copper are dirt cheap, aren't they? So, and you know, we have lots of core mining. So do I just test this theory that it won't launch until there's actual room? Because it would take a while for it to fill up again anyway. Well, let's just send them individually now. That was sent. Oh, that wasn't full, was it? Yes, it was. Yes, they do fill up pretty quick. I mean, that one hasn't. This red circuit's just dead because red circuits is just dead. Load. Oh dear, look at my train network. Struggling. Ah dear. I basically end up like every train is going through here, which is why it's a problem. What it should have done is connected the depot somewhere else. Sort of trap myself with it. I'd have to completely move it, which would be an absolute... Well, I won't use the word. Don't know what to do about that. That isn't an extremely long-winded solution. Okay. Never mind. Imagine some prod modules on that too. Legendary Mod 3s seem much more viable now. Yeah, there's legendary as well. Crikey. I assume it must take ages. You know, they'll have got it mostly because the whole... Where did I launch that rocket to? The green one, because I hadn't set the destination, did I? Where did I send that one? Because I didn't set that. General vicinity. Oh dear. Talking about extremely expensive. I wonder where that's ended up then. Can we see it? What do we think that might be? Yeah, right, okay. Wow, okay. Well, I guess I've got a bunch more scrap. Because these are just gigantic amounts of... I bet I've lost some as well. Okay, so there you go, kids. Remember to set the destination first. Crikey. Yeah. I was thinking of how much a space platform control centre looks like. Looks when receiving the fleet of rockets. shown in a previous Friday fact. Rockets carrying inserters. I imagine the hole is constantly open and the rockets just fall in non-stop. Ouch, yeah. Ouch, I agree with very much. I don't know, the thing, so someone pointed out that where I was, you know, sat there going, these look like the same one, I can't see any difference. What I should have done is just compared them side by side. I don't know if I can do that, actually. How would I do that? If I... because we're on screen. No, wrong game. Okay. So if you compare them, they are different, but the difference is subtle. Right, so that's one of them. And then, where's the other one? Where's the platform? Oh, there he is. Okay, so if I switch that to that one, and if we zoom in, so this is the platform. This is a platform version, and you know, excuse me, you notice it's got the actual hole basically for the rocket. Now I'd have thought it was the other way around. Is one of the things. I assume this is where the cargo pods pop out of. But that seems an awfully big hole for the cargo. Maybe they all come out at once. Is the idea? So that's the cargo pod on the. That's the landing. That's the hub on the space platform, and then this one is the one on the planet, and they are very, very similar. But you see, it's got a fan. It's got like a you know, an engine or something on it, effectively, and then also the blinky lights bit is replaced by some red. Well, I think that's meant to be like a passive provider chest or something like that, because it's got a bot entrance in it. Should have looked at it more closely. But basically, you know, it's very, very, very similar. And the comment I made in reply was that I can see myself turning up at a new planet, thinking I've got one of these planet ones, and actually I've just brought another, you know, space platform one, because they are so similar. That was a down enough. But yeah, so this one, and apparently this thing opens. So this sort of you know, like saucer shaped thing that like opens in 3 parts. You know, so you get one. You know, that's a hinge, and that's a hinge. So it kind of opens up, which then, as I say, kind of begs the question what this, you know, rocket one is for. If all of the cargo pods maybe come out of these things, and into these things, why do you need an extra one? So the functionality of it is going to be interesting, but also I imagine awesome. I can't see how things flying out of these isn't going to be pretty cool. And these shutters do apparently go back and forth. So again, is that where the cargo things come out of? Because I say those apparently do go back and forth. Because that would make a lot of sense. You get a lot of parallel, and then you can basically, you're limited, you know, by how many of these you actually put on as to how quickly it unloads. But then again, what's the point of these 2 opening things? Don't know. But yeah, they're very, very similar. I'm hoping for videos of the space logistics in action next Friday. Yeah, it feels like we've mostly been told a lot of quality of life stuff, rather than, you know, space age stuff, really. But yeah. Okay, so how are we doing? I've taken that belt out because now we've got like millions of copper. So does that mean I can start working on these things? At some point we need to get over there, don't we? I guess what I could do, if I order up a load of, whatchamacallit, the cargo, we could maybe pop over there. In fact, how much belt would I need? It might be better to belt it over. Yeah, but if I, not cargo, the space platform, because there should be tons of this stuff now. Excuse me. So, if I stick it on a belt, essentially, how much have we got in storage? 800 odd. Maybe they should have bigger. 300. That's too bad. Because that's the contents of the chest. Total lucky stuff. Cool. I've got pipes in space. Why have I got pipes in space? Reasons, I guess. Okay. So what I'm thinking is basically just running a, piece of, what should we call it, over there, cargo thing. And, just literally sticking it all in a, on a belt, basically. And sort of dragging it all the way back here. Rather than risk having the bots flying, all the way over there. Okay. Because I imagine I'll end up extending the platform that way anyway. Right, let's do it with this. So if we go, say, like that, and then if it was there, would that work? Yeah, that'd be okay, wouldn't it? So if we put it, I don't know, there. Gonna need to run power out though, aren't I? So should have maybe lined it up with that. Although it needs to be wider, doesn't it? So we can actually get the belt on. Whoa, they're coming. They're coming. Ah, they're coming for me. No, they're going for the belt. Yeah, I'd love to see, how it all works and what it's all about and all that sort of stuff. But we are awaiting details, really. Just going for a run in space. Yeah. And then if I do so maybe do that, and then we'll have fit with it. Maybe because it actually needs to be requester just, doesn't it? I haven't got any requester things, so we have them. My madness will become apparent in a minute. So if we do that, we don't need requesters actually, do we? We just need storage. Oh, too small. Like that. Oh, of course, there's this junk in the way. Oops, there. That there. And then we have a robotic port. Or maybe a couple. There, and there's not enough room. Oops. There and there. We stick some bots in, and off they fly and bring it all in. And then I'll set up the belt. The description of what they have left sounded like it's basically finished, and they mostly have minor fixes and probably some graphics and vacations left. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Yeah, I think it's. I think that was kind of almost like the point of the LAN, because as I was talking about, project management and scheduling of it all. Basically, I think that's what they're saying essentially is that if I use these, we'll force it out, didn't it? That'll do. What they're effectively saying is the LAN, really, the purpose of it was to test that the game works all the way through, and then it's basically like feature lock. So it's basically saying, right, well, it all works. We're not adding any more features. What we'll do is make sure everything works okay. Fix any bugs that we found during the LAN. They'll... No, what? My bots are all flying off because, of course, they ran out of power. There we go. So that was spectacularly done, wasn't it? Because I've got... Yes, I think that was the feature lock basically. That was like, well, that's us done. That's the game finished. I'd be quicker flying, wouldn't I? But I don't really like the flying mechanic. Right, you lot. Why did you run away? No, don't take it. Let's give it another go. But yeah, I think it's, it's essentially done, I think is the point. But it needs to be polished, it needs to be... I think one of the things is probably balancing, working out what recipes are, and are they really changing these recipes, and are they making them cheaper, more expensive, and what was the feedback when people were trying to build Spidertrons on Gleba or what have you? Was that just too difficult or what have you? Okay, well I guess I'll let them work on that, but I will also do a deconstruction. Oh, it's goes off the top. Sorry. Okay. How about just take that up there a bit then? Is that fine? Yeah. So put that there. Give me some power. One of the things I think I'll do off stream, because I don't want to do it now because it could well kill my PC for minutes, is like do a because you can do the reveal thing. Can you? You can do it here, is it? Yeah, view surface thing and all that. Yeah, there it is, scan surface. And I'll work out whether, because somebody showed a picture of Nalvis in SpaceX, and it was a little difficult to tell how big it was, because I'm not sure that I haven't... Obviously, it's really difficult to tell the scale, but if it's that big, then that's interesting. I don't know that I want to try and reclaim the entire planet, but I was thinking more about space, basically. How, where it... Because I can't find... Oh, I've got a random one over there, but there's meant to be loads of water here, I think. Was that it saying water, or am I getting mixed up? Oh, there's nothing here. Okay. That didn't make sense, because we've already mined some water. Yeah, maybe it doesn't tell you what's in orbit. Maybe not. Anyway, But yeah, reveal the surface basically and see how big this actually is. And if there is anything here then, I guess. Because I thought it told me, but clearly not. Because I need to know if there's water ice here. Or I do have to go out to the asteroid belt to get it. Okay, anyway. Let's leave them to that. Cool. I mean, that was kind of all I was thinking about achieving, really, today. So we're kind of ahead of schedule. What else could we do? I guess we could set these up, which is what I was working on before. Do I have any recipes? I've got a couple. Yeah, I guess we could work out what we need and what I'm missing. What's not going into chests and what have you. Being shot into space. Because it'd be good to work out, I think, what else I want to rocket up. Because I think low density structures might be a good one. Steel probably, but you know, with the caveat that at the moment we're subsisting on a diet of repurposed barrels, basically. Yeah, so the question is, what machines do we want to make? Oops. I guess I should base it on the science, really, shouldn't I? So to make that, we need space manufactories, which we're already making, I think. Yeah, got loads of them now. Cryonite, we're obviously blasting in. Efficiency modules, solar panels, we can make in the various whatchamacallit machines. The thermofluid, how does thermofluid work? Isn't that just the radiator thing that I've already set? Yeah, that does the thermal fluid, so we've set that. But we need the machine learning data. Now, the machine learning data is the superb computers, wherever they are. There they are. But, of course, they need the cards. Now, how do you make the cards? Does that require any kind of... Oh, the supercomputer makes the card. Oh, no, that makes the data. Blank cards can be done in a manufactory. But don't we need... Decontamination facility. There we go. So we need to be able to make them as well. That plasma generator was for the other thing. Oh, have I set that? No. That's a biochemical one. That's a thermodynamics. Okay. So we need... What's it? Decontamination? Where the heck is that? There it is. So we need to make them. And... I think that's all fine there. Because I assume I can make efficiency modules in... any kind of manufacturing, because it doesn't have a set thing. Cool. The red science then, production science. Well, I guess space science as well. What else would I need to make them? Processing units, do I send them up? Because we need to make them if not. Stone needs to come up here, doesn't it? Solid rocket fuel. So, maybe we send rockets worth of rocket fuel up. We definitely need stone. That's a mad thing to be sending into space, isn't it? And what else? Space transport belt, kind of making already, so we obviously can make that. Processing units, though, do I send them up via rocket? I mean, that's going to be one rocket every like million years or so, isn't it? Oh, go on. Can never have enough blue circuits, I guess. So, would that enable me to make space sites? There's the cosmic water, but we're already making that. I guess that, though, uses water and lubricant, doesn't it? So I send cargo rockets full of water and lubricant up here? Or at the very least, lubricant. Because that would then get me thingy, wouldn't it? Even more steel, basically, for free. In which case, maybe rather than steel, I do barrels of lube. Got to be well lubricated in space. That's I've learnt that. Okay. So that's lube. Right. What do I do about water? Because the ratio on it is that the lube is like nothing compared to the water. I think I've probably got to set something up for it. Because I'm thinking maybe I'll end up, you know, taking the water from the asteroid belt, maybe? Okay. So I was optimistic about this being where I was going to make science, wasn't I? Okay. Okay. Because you see, you need it for the polished stuff as well, because it obviously uses cosmic water directly. But then you also need it for that one. Although you can use... Actually, you can use that, can't you? That's the same thing. Although that one produces scrap. Oh, and contaminated, so you can reprocess it. Does contaminated into regular... it's right there. 100 to 99. And also contaminated biosludge. That's confusing. Which is that one. And that gives biosludge? I don't know what I need biosludge for though. What do I need biosludge for? Okay. That's a whole complicated chain, isn't it? Space lube is the key. Indeed, yeah. I think we're all right with buildings, though, is the point. I think that's fine for there. Now, the red sides, then. Prod modules, which is fine. Iron ingots. Okay. Iron ingots. Huh. Iron ingots. They can be made in a thermodynamics facility, which is a space one. But what from? Oh, from molten iron. And molten iron is iron and pyroflux. So do I send the ingots into space? Or do I send iron ore into space? Because you can turn the cryo blocks, these things, into pyroflux. Can't you? Yeah, so 10 pyroflux in one block. So if we get the blocks in, we could make the pyroflux, you see. And you don't need much pyroflux, I don't think. 10 to 24 produces 900 molten thingies, which is effectively 4 iron ingots. So 10 pyroflux produces 4 iron ingots, basically. And of course, you get 100 out of each pyro thingy, vulcanite block. I think you get 10. Okay. So it's like 1 to 1, basically, isn't it? So one of those would make 4, I think, of the iron ingots. So effectively, that's like almost sort of saying 8 vulcanite blocks to make one would be one way of doing it if we brought iron ore up here. Packing density is not going to be great, is it? Because the other option, I might basically, you know, excuse me, last stream, we set this up. So I could stick in a cheeky station, just here maybe, and just gather the excess, because there's no guarantee it will ever call on this iron. I mean, there is, because eventually my regular patches will run out unless I replace them. In fact, they're probably quite diminished right now, are they? Yeah, so you've only got just a mere 9 million. That's going to be a while, I think. But, yeah, it's only the core mining that's infinite. I think I prefer to bring this up. Stick that on a rocket, basically. Okay, so, decision made. So then, if this is iron ingots, what we need to do for one thing is, I need like a generic version of this, don't I, really? As a, in fact, did I do a blueprint of it? No. That'd be far too efficient. Okay, so these would be these anyway, wouldn't they? And then this needs to be an active provider. I didn't actually replace these ones, did I? Yeah. And then we can just copy this, say. Like that. Give it a boop. Oh, I won't have any construction bots, will I? Because... Oh, I have, but only a couple. Because I don't think I'm putting them in a chest as such. Not that it matters, the construction bots are nice and they play nice in this. They don't go falling out the sky for some reason. Where did they go? So if we just put a little offshoot on here, that is. Got any chests? Store a chest. Why have you not got flowbot claims? Oops. Is this still not really working? What are you waiting on when this finishes? What have we not got? Everything. So what are you amazing about? I guess it's just that thing when it does the top one first, basically. Of course, these take ages to build, so why don't we take... why don't we put a speed in? Okay. We were kind of making a generic one. Oh, we're going to blueprint one? No, this was the copy one, wasn't it? So that needs to go. This needs to be... I should really attach this to the wires, shouldn't I? Rather than mess about. But let's just do that. There we go. Wait, that was meant to be iron ingots. I thought I copied and pasted it already. No. Right. So, if this is our generic one, they're gonna need one of them. How are we doing with the whole? I didn't do a delete on these, did I? Blimey. Okay. I guess they prefer that one then. Oh, fine. I'm excited for Satisfactory 1.0 too, but it's not the same thing when it's early access to 1.0 compared to a big expansion like Space Age. I'd love to see fixes for trains and multiplayer dedicated servers though. I'd love to see fixes for trains full stop with Satisfactory. I don't like the train system at all. I think it's horrendous. The track laying is just atrocious. I get that we're going for, and it sort of looks good once you've spent a million hours actually setting up the rail. But I always found any piece of straight rail. I guess well, this was the thing. Blueprints weren't even in there. I don't know if you can do them now, but blueprints weren't in there. Weren't in it basically. I think I've run out of those, haven't I? Yeah. Dang. But yeah, blueprints weren't were kind of literally just introduced when I lost my temper and stopped playing basically. I think I'm going to do that. I don't need to bother, do I? Actually. Why have my bots aren't turned on? That's why they're not doing jobs. But yes, we will turn this into a generic blueprint. But yeah, because it does like a spline thing, basically. So it's trying to do smart lines and stuff. So if you're just trying to lay dead straight track, and it's attached to any kind of... It's actually the same thing. You know, you get the fluid leaks effect in this, basically. Where, because it's a floating point, or is it a... Whatever, it's not an integer. So it basically... Over time, the like 0.00, you know, the last number will get disappeared essentially, and so it has a similar sort of thing in the code, I think, where basically it's a tiny little 0.0001, you know, type end to the angle that it calculates gets amplified, And so I ended up with. I'm trying to lie a straight track, but it's connected to a curve, and so it tries to ever so slightly do a curve inwards, and then it tries to connect it back and tries to connect it back, and it slowly builds up into the. So all of my train track was doing this all over the place, and I just. Let's say one of the many things I lost my rag with. I love like the concept of Satisfactory, and the idea of building gigantic buildings, but it was so tedious to do everything. I was just like, oh. I say this was pre-blueprint, and I say that's when I really got annoyed with it, because basically when they did blueprints and you could build like two assemblers and that was it in your blueprint, it was like, no, you've got that wrong. Modular factory, great, okay, fine, but I don't want to have to I don't want to replace placing 500 assemblers with placing 250 blueprints. That's not really a time saving. So I don't know. Hopefully they've done some tweaks and stuff, and at the very least, rail can be in blueprints now. But I haven't really checked it out properly. Oh, okay. I don't know. Using sex-based terms again. Oh, yeah. So the auto mod has caught the term rail tool. I wonder what that's getting at. So how do I allow that? Allow that like that. Oh, thank you for the follow. 1990 is for kind. Much appreciated. Oh, I see the message thing. Bacon Magician was why has my activity feed suddenly got messages in it? That's bizarre. Well, thank you for the bits, by the way, Bacon Magician, if you're still there. I hadn't realised that's how you got them. I thought they were the points thing. But yeah, thanks for the bits. So my activity feed has only just caught up with itself. I figured out how I can build exact straight rails, but it's a bit annoying. Imagine a real tool like Factorio built in Satisfactory. Wow, yeah. I say that. Well, that was always the problem with it to me. It's like, because the way they scaled the game was like, you need to build enormous factories, and this is what I'm really hoping they fix in 1.0 is the scale is a bit more realistic, because Tectonic has done the same thing, where it's actually the devs have basically gone, right, well, there is no end game to this game. We haven't done the end game yet, so instead we'll just give you some super gigantic numbers, and if you want to keep going and build those super gigantic numbers, off you go. Fill your boots, have fun. I'm sort of hoping Satisfactory did the same thing, and that you don't need to build 5,000, of everything just to get one tier on the elevator and stuff, because it's just wrong scale for the tools they've given you to build. Because the other option, like with this, Space Age is going to require us to build mega factories. That's the point of everything they're doing, because then it gives you the logistics challenge, because the logistics game again, of moving all of that around your system and not getting blocked up. That's what the game is about. So they've given you the tools to make a mega factory, even if you're not the sort of player who enjoys stamping down, blueprints of 10,000 assemblers. You don't need to. You can stamp down 4 assemblers, 4 foundries, and you've got a mega factory. Yeah, that's what they're going for, basically. And I say, and Satisfactory to me seem to have gone down the route of, right, well, that exact problem of, we've given this gigantic map, it's hand built, isn't it beautiful? Great. I need to now move enormous amounts of material around this map. The thing for building it is me spending hours laying down by hand rail track. That's just not fun. So you need to either give people the tools to do it, or you need to scale that back, basically. I'm being very nasty about it, or saying it in a bit of an aggressive way, but I say it did wind me up in the end. And I say that's really what I'm hoping, is that either we get better tools, better ways of doing things, or they scale the thing back a bit. Because they could always do what Factorio has got and have the expensive mode for the game, Oh, hello, Gareth. Factorio Reddit moderator recommended you to me. Oh, good. I'm glad to see I'm getting some recommendations and stuff. I know people say some kind things about the videos that I do, but you never know whether it's sort of percolating through, basically. I agree with your points, albeit reluctantly. Yeah, I know, you know, the game is beautiful and lovely, and I don't know. I've said this when I was streaming it, that I don't know that it's not designed for multiplayer. Really, I think maybe that's really what they were going for. Because if you think of it more in terms of, right, well, getting me on my own to build 1,000 assemblers and you know, crunch away on it is horrendous. But if you set that as a challenge for 4 people, it's not as big of a challenge, you know. And as I say, I think that might be how they've actually scaled the game in reality. Yeah, whether I'm going to do a series on Satisfactory, I don't know. There is a possibility that I might be going on holiday, basically. Which I never go on holiday. Like proper holiday, going away. But there's basically an invite I've got, so it should be super cheap. The reason I don't go is I'm a skinflint and I don't like spending money on holidays. But yeah, so I may not be here when it goes into 1.0. We'll have to see. Which is going to make finishing this even more difficult. If I'm actually taking a holiday for once. Right, so, how are we doing? It's nearly 7. I'm extending out, because it turns out I need... What I should actually do, I guess, is maybe put some along the bottom, shouldn't I? And we could have, like, opposite facing. There, that makes more sense, I think. You know, so if I put the opposite way around one... Oh, I could just have the same one. It doesn't really need to be opposite, does it? Yeah, I think that's probably a better approach. Let's just whack a load in here. Because we've got tens of thousands of platform bits now. It's sat waiting to go. And building stuff is construction bots, which don't fall out the sky. So it's nice and easy to do. Let us see. If I go and just manually add a bit in. Let's see where the power poles need to be. How far off are they distance-wise? I love when people compare SE to SA. But most of us, SE is a tedious 4 hours that we get exhausted with before the ending. SA should be much faster, yeah. You know, if they haven't got that balance right, then yeah, they need to work on it because, I mean, I am enjoying this and it's, you know, it's interesting at the very least, but the scale of the production challenge on it is just like way off. And as I understand it, because I'm playing on like the latest version, it was a lot better, I think people were saying in like the previous version. So how's that going to work? If I just fill this in, okay. Run out of stuff. Okay. So, oh. So yeah, I mean that's the type of thing I'm hoping they're balancing for. It was quite funny in the Friday Facts, wasn't it, where they're basically saying everyone will come up with all these amazing ideas, and then we cut them in half, and then we cut them in half again. It's clearly what he goes for, the whole big scale thing. I don't know where I put that blueprint. There it is. Yeah, so it's probably going to be better if they're the other way around. But it wouldn't fit. Okay. Yeah. So it needs to be like there, maybe. I guess if I do it like that, then maybe at some point there could be trains in there. Okay, so if it is there, how far down does the platform need to go? It needs to go a good way down, I think. So if we put in... Oh, I've used it all up. If we put in another row like that, maybe? Where would that get us to? So where's this blueprint then? that one. So would it fit there? Yeah, so that would fit in. I guess in future I might want to extend it and say if I did want to do trains with it, maybe. Now, can they build? Yes, they can build that far. Okay. Maybe if I just take it to the edge, building edge, maybe? And this time I will leave it running while I go and get some dinner. So I need to chop 2 off. Boop. Oops. I can't wait for 0.7. Hope it's out next year. Yeah, I mean, I assume. Well, I guess at the moment he's going to be really, really busy on the actual expansion, but I assume it'll follow relatively quickly because, again, I'm assuming that a lot of the features that kind of needs are being added as part of the base game because. It would make sense for for them to be introducing that sort of stuff. I wonder how much it is to update it to utilise the new 2.0 features, but I'd imagine it would be quite awesome. My understanding, from what they were saying, is that if you're talking in terms of, version 2, just the base game, then it kind of won't be that different. The big thing would be recipes, basically. So if your mod doesn't change a recipe, but the recipe changes in version 2, then it might break things effectively. So I can't really think of a very good example of that, but I don't know, maybe something like belts. So if they change the recipe for belts, and then you've built it such that it's balanced for the cost of a belt currently. Like this adds in a single cylinder engine rather than using a gear wheel, so it's more expensive than a normal belt. Well, if they make belts more expensive, and then whatever the code that you've got in there that does replace it, it could make it cheaper, or it could make it broken essentially, because it's modifying the belt recipe rather than something else. If that makes sense, and particularly chains, I would guess, so that if you're just taking the tech tree and adding something in, and it's reliant on something that actually now is unlocked on Gleba, you might want to rethink that, because that would mean your mod couldn't be unlocked until the player got to Gleba. So it's things like that, I think, that need to be changed. But as far as the API is concerned, I don't think the implication was that it's not going to be that difficult to update them, but I don't know. I say I've never done any modding in Factorio. I tend to assume they will work on 2.1 for release next year, so he might not have time to get Space Exploration 0.7. I guess it depends on if they still need his creative genius working on 2.1. Yeah, I am interested in, and because a couple of devs have popped in on how they actually divide tasks up, because it sounds a lot like people could they can work on things that they want to work on, but that people do get not necessarily pigeonholed, but they become the person who is the go-to person for doing that thing, but they might also do other stuff. So because Erendel was supposedly, I think it was announced, it was as a concept artist, and I'm sure that's a big part of what he has been doing, but it sounds like, from the Friday Facts, that Erendel's also been doing a lot of the game design, which you wouldn't normally associate it with concept artists as such. So I say it looks like it's a bit sort of freer. If someone's got a good idea, then even if it's not what they currently all have been working on, then it can be incorporated and what have you. Seemed to be the implication, but I don't know. So yeah, it may be that it's required, but it'll be for, I don't know, bug fixing or something like that, rather than necessarily building anything new. I do wonder if we will get these are all the things we're adding for 2.1, or whether it will just be 2.1 will appear at some point and suddenly it'll have I don't know, some feature that we were all asking for but didn't come in, sort of thing. So there's still tons and tons of 17 wrong things. 4,900. Glad I built that now. How are we doing over here then? Why is there a red thing? Or is that just an artifact from the... It is. Okay. So... they need to empty that out. But that's basically okay, isn't it? Cool. How many green circuits? Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Right, okay. 24,000. Okay. That'll take a little while to empty, I think, won't it? Maybe I should go over there. Oh, you... I'm going, Esky Raven. You've done that deliberately, haven't you? I mean, you do it deliberately, obviously, because you have to press the button. How are you doing, Esky Raven? How you? I hope you're well. So, a bad joke. Gold. Let's have a look. I'll leave you with this one then. Let's have a look. See, I can't remember what the site was that had a load of really good ones on. Oh no, that's got weird. What? Oh, there we go. That was bizarre. Okay. What about this one then? So, today at the bank, an old lady asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. Good, I guess. Got a new job, so let's hope the job is good. And what have you been up to? Nothing, just pumping out the old Friday Effects videos and doing the live streams. Yeah, no, I mean I've been doing well actually, because the really big stressful things from work have kind of eased off a bit. So I'm sort of recovering after, say, a rather intense period. Unfortunately, they keep putting out intense Friday Facts, which kind of ends up occupying my entire weekend, basically. So, speaking of which, I am actually going to be ending. It's only a short one today, because obviously I started a bit late. Is that the schedule? There we go. Started a bit late because I was watching the British Grand Prix, which was great. I enjoyed that a great deal. But I will be back to my normal schedule next week, which will be 3 o'clock British Summer Time for 3 hours, both Saturday and Sunday. We will be continuing SpaceX. As I say, I'm very much coming to the conclusion that, again, caught you at the end. Exactly. Very much coming to the conclusion that I will not be getting anywhere close to finishing this by the time Space Age launches. We have literally, 16 weeks, 15 weeks until it, in theory, comes out. Obviously, it could be delayed by a little bit, but it's not going to be delayed by a lot, I don't think. Which means that, I have, 30 streams, which is 90 hours. In this expansion, that's nothing, basically. So I cannot see me getting to the end of it unless I do an enormous amount off stream, which, as I say, I'm not able to do at the moment because, also I'm losing. I say if I take up the offer of this trip, then I'm losing like 3 weeks from that. But basically, yeah, the point is that we will just keep going. I am enjoying it. I'm not bored of it yet as such. But do not expect me to finish SpaceX before Space Age is out. When I will obviously switch to streaming that instead. I guess I should mention, it is my plan, if it does come out on the Monday, I'm going to take a couple of days off and do basically, big streams or several streams or something like that, just with the purpose of kind of playing through certainly the early game and, and then keeping that going as a series. Anything else on that front? I don't think so. Yeah, so the other thing to mention that I always do is that I have a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel you will find every week a read through and a lot of analysis and speculation of the Factorio Friday Facts. I go into a lot of depth and I talk about a load of rubbish basically, and they're a huge amount of fun to do. People do seem to enjoy them as well. So if you're new here and that's something you think might be of interest to you, then I'd encourage you to go check those out. There's a big old playlist of everyone since they started doing the Friday Facts for the expansion. So what's that, about a year's worth now? Crikey. It also has all of the VODs on for this series, as well as all the other series I've done, which is a whole bunch of Factorio, an aesthetic series, a blueprint series. I'm going to revive both of those when we get Space Age. And then like a new No Spoon run. What else did I do? I did a Mega Base, all sorts of stuff like that. And then playthroughs of Satisfactory, Tectonica, Dyson Sphere Program, got three playthroughs of that. So all sorts of VODs for you to have on in the background, basically. Yes, rubbish. Is there anything else? I guess not. I guess one of the things I should say, because I do obviously have Twitter and stuff, if you wanted to just follow on there. I try to announce when I'm, if the Friday Facts video is going late or I'm not I'm not going to be streaming till later. I do try to announce on there. That's all I really do on Twitter. I don't really, the occasional maybe liking of a cat meme or something like that, but I'm not really active on Twitter, but it is a way of seeing, if I'm going to delay the stream or anything like that. So I guess if you wanted to follow there, not that, as I say, I'm not exactly a volume poster on Twitter. Is there anything else worth mentioning? I don't think so. It feels like I forgot something, but that's just because the stream is all out of whack and I'm doing it late and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, back next week, 3 p.m. British Summer Time. There's a converter on my channel if you wanted to look up your local time. All it remains for me to say then is, if you have been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.